Hi, we're CRT Less Lethal Incorporated. I'm Chris Myers.
I'm Rick White.
And I'm Tom Burns. The parameters that we're going to be using today for our testing using stingers and tasers is the NTOA ICP accuracy, effectiveness, and for the potential of causing serious injury or potentially death. These are well recognized and established parameters, and parameters that are accepted throughout the United States.
Today, we have successfully obtained 2 samples through a third party from the secondary market, and they, as far as we understand, they are production models. We'll be pitting those directly head-to-head with other electronic control devices available to us, and so we're going to do blind studies. The first thing we're going to do is actually test the devices firing from a vise or from a fixed position at the targets to determine spread and the consistency of the spread when they're fired. The next thing we're going to do is take that data that we obtain from the targets and use that to place the probes on human test subjects. We've got a number of volunteers that are volunteering to taste test, as it were, these different electronic control devices, and we're going to do it blind. That way, any preconceived notions they might have about which device they think might work better is not going to come into play. We're going to conceal the device. They're not going to know which one they're hooked to. We're going to subject these test subjects to a test where they're going to try and attack a bag. We're looking for a violent encounter because that's what the police officers are attempting to stop with these devices on the street. The emphasis of all of our testing is effectiveness.
Well, to test these side by side, the first thing we wanted to do was see how accurate the probes were, where those probes are striking relative to a fixed point on a flat screen, if you will. So we fixed both the devices in a vise so we could kind of take the human factor out of trigger pull or any kind of shifting that would occur within the device as the trigger's being pulled. So we could have an exact point of aim and alleged point of impact. We have 8 cartridges from the stinger to fire, so we will fire 8 from the taser. We will plot where those probes are striking, come up with a relative average for where our distance is at our probe spread at a particular distance. Well, based on my forensic reconstruction of taser events, the lower probe seems to be the most problematic. And looking at the probe spread and the lower probe spread, there's a lot more inconsistency with the stinger. So I would anticipate field applications to be a little more problematic for the stinger just based on where that lower probe's hitting. As you can see, there's quite a bit of spread on the lower probe of the stinger versus the taser being a little more consistent and a tighter pattern, if you will.
To make this truly a blind test, we have concealed each of the devices inside of a bag. That way the profile and the appearance of the device is changed. You cannot tell whether this is a stinger or a taser inside the bag. That way the subject is reacting to the stimulus as opposed to their perceived power of the device that they're being hit with. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ah! Oh, no! Come on, hit it, come on!
Okay, that's it. The device is off.
Tell us the difference between the first exposure and the second exposure.
This exposure was a little bit delayed. It was slow. It didn't hit me as hard as the second one.
Okay, what did the second one do to you?
Second one, instant debilitated me.
Did you feel you could come at me at all?
No.
Okay.
Hit hard.
You didn't think you could take any type of punch? What with the left one? Did you feel you could fight through that a little bit?
I felt like I could fight through that, push through it.
In your opinion, versus the first deployment and the second deployment, what would be your choice?
For defensive?
For you personally, if you
I
had
would
to choose.
prefer the second one because it's going to stop that person instantly.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, man!
We're off. We're off.
Sorry.
Based on the first hit you got versus the second, which was more devastating to you?
Definitely the second.
And if you had to make an individual choice of which one you'd want to patrol with you, which one would you pick?
The second one.
Do you feel you could fight through the second one at all?
No. Once I started, it just locked me.
And with the first one, how did you feel about your ability to fight?
There was no problem.
Okay.
It was like just like a pinch.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Which staffs, Going to take a third hit, again a 5-foot spread. Same like the first two, I want you to hit this bag and attack it as hard as you can.
All right.
With the third device, same countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. We're off.
So, we've had 3 deployments on you now. Compare the third deployment versus the first 2.
The third one was just as strong as the second one. Locked me up. Couldn't get it.
Do you feel you could have fought through that at all?
No.
Total incapacitation.
Totally incapacitated. Yeah, I couldn't move.
Great. Thanks for everything you've done.
You bet.
3, 2, 1, go.
Come on. Based off the first hit and the second hit that you achieved, would you say that they were equal?
No. First one, I could feel it, but I could still move.
And on the second
On
one?
the second one, I wanted to move, but my body locked up. I was rigid.
Okay. If you had to make a choice going into patrol, which one would you want to carry with you?
Definitely the second one.
Okay. Thank you very much. Dan's volunteered for a third hit. We have made the spread 13 inches, which was what the standard spread was on the Stinger. Same drill, 5 feet apart. I want you to attack the bag as hard as you can once you get there.
Ready? Same countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, get it. Fight through it.
And
Okay, you were hit with the first 2 on the initial test, and then you took a third hit. Tell us about that hit compared to the other 2.
The third one, I was really locked up. I had my arm like this. I was trying to move, and I was totally locked up.
So you felt totally incapacitated?
Yes.
Do you feel you could have fought it all through that?
No.
Thank you very much.
down. 3, 2, 1, go. That's it.
Based on the first deployment and the second deployment, which would you say was more effective?
Second deployment.
Can you tell me a little bit about the first deployment, how it affected you?
First one hurt. I could keep going. It hurt in the beginning. I could keep going, but I went down on the. It was like a slide. I went from the top and I went down. I could fight hard, and then it took me down towards the end of the deployment.
Okay, and then the second deployment,
Dropped me like a.
do you feel you could have fought it all?
No, there was no way I could fight through that one.
If you had to make a decision on your own, which one to carry in patrol, which one would you carry?
The second deployment.
Thank you very much.
Throughout this testing, we concealed the device from the test subject by placing it inside of a bag that just had a CRT logo on it. They didn't know if it was the Stinger, the X26, or the M26 until all the testing was completed. As we went through the testing for consistency's purposes, we hit him with the Stinger first. Next, we hit him with the X26. We had 2 volunteers that came through and volunteered to take a hit from a third device. In that round of testing, we did the M26, the first generation of TASER.
Our goal in this was to see independently how each person would react when getting hit with each device. Obviously, the video tells one story, but we also wanted the individual to comment on exactly how the device affected them and what their choice would be if they had to go out to patrol.
And summarizing on the probe spread, we did the probe spread based on our accuracy testing at 12 feet. So at 12 feet, the Stinger was about 13.8 inches apart of probe spread. So that's what we placed the probes on the subject. In turn, the X26 probe spread was about 21 inches, so that's what we put the probes on for that subject. For the third and final test with the M26, we used the 13.8 probe spread, the Stinger probe spread, for the final 2 tests.